Hello, hello, hello. How are we? Haley Marie, morning everyone. Can't believe it's Friday again. I know, my God, we're almost out of September. Well, no, we're not really, we're sort of halfway through September. Faith Goodman, you've just asked a question that I really want to know. Why is only part of Blackpool? Why is it's very specific, isn't it? Why is only part of Blackpool exempt from this semi sort of lockdown that's going on? Morning, Laura Lawler, Penny Legate, Faith Goodman, Haley Marie, Mumsy4, Jacqueline Frost, Danosaurus. Thank you. Oh, thanks for your comments on Home Time 57. Yeah, it was a funny one that. As I was editing it, I was thinking, this is a bit downbeat in a way, but it's how we felt. So, yeah. Claire Smiley, Nicholas Sinnott, hello, April Hill, Mumsy4, Gabrielle, Tina Davis, Amy Ear, Funky Kids, Amanda, oh right, got you, Morning Lee, lovely Lee Peart. Don't forget everyone, do put your notifications on for Lee Peart's YouTube channel. Very funny, very informative, very entertaining, very intelligent entertainer. Morning, Angela Thompson, Whoopstar UK Balfour, Mama Gilly, Sarah Jordan, Louisa Hackett, Nicola Randall, Mandy Woods, it's your birthday. I don't do the singing on my own because I think Nadia is by far the greatest singer. But happy birthday, Mandy Woods, just to you. Richard Kavanagh, happy birthday to your mum. She's a maths teacher at Paddington Academy. A happy birthday to Richard Kavanagh's mum. There you go. How are we all? Hi from Cyprus, Agni Kazaku. Evening from Aussie, Felicity Cook, Gemma Parsons, Kylie Hinch, Millie Parfit, Claire. Oh, look, there's so many of you here today. Welcome, one and all. I wish we were sitting on top of, for those of you who aren't in the UK, it's a bit of a bleak moment, really, because I feel like we're just on the precipice of, well, we are on the precipice of a second lockdown. A lot of the news flow this morning is all about a second spike and Matt Hancock, erstwhile health minister, talking about the fact that a lockdown isn't off the table. Now, when they say a lockdown, they don't mean they want to keep schools open, they want to keep businesses open, they want to try and coincide it with half term so that schools can stay open, or rather schools are minimally impacted. Which I think all makes sense, that makes sense. And so what they're doing is they're calling it a sort of circuit breaker. So let's start off with a binary question, shall we? What do you think, guys? Do you think that's the kind of circuit breaker? Will it be efficient? Does the virus observe like a 2-week circuit breaker? Or will it put a pause on an inevitable thing that will continue again after the 2 weeks? See what I mean? I mean, I'm not suggesting that there should be a longer lockdown, far from it, but I'm wondering whether any form of lockdown is necessarily the right thing. What do you think, guys? Is a circuit breaker the right move forward? Hello, Melissa Ansar. It'll only put a pause on it, Funky Kids. Jade Louisa, it'll only pause. Jane Bentley, the latter, it's just a pause on the inevitable. Anastasia Alexander. Yeah, Laura, I think, yes, people need to stop mixing. I mean, here's the thing. The last thing we want, I'm hopefully seeing Izzy at the weekend. The last thing we want is more restrictions put on families because we've all had enough of that. But if, in many ways, they want to keep the economy going, it feels we kind of need herd immunity. Can I ask, how many of you are, in favour of the herd immunity approach, bearing in mind that includes shielding the vulnerable? Who believes in herd immunity? Yes or no? Yeah, Sharon Fox, a lot of you saying it'll just delay the inevitable. I know what you mean. I mean, I know that a 2-week kind of circuit breaker in a human head makes sense, but does it in a virus head? Yes. Herd immunity. Okay, so it's mixture. Yeah, I believe in it. Yes, but scared. Yes, herd immunity. I don't know, it's scary. I'll tell you something that we haven't heard particularly much about recently is the nature of the virus, have we? We haven't heard about whether it's mutating. We haven't heard about whether it's changed. I haven't heard anything about antibodies for quite a while, other than from John Campbell, who said that antibodies seem to stay longer in the body. So, you know, or that people who've had it have a stronger immunity than was originally thought. I don't know why that sort of news never... herd immunity won't matter as virus is evolving, Louise Jones. Well, that's what I mean. It's like, it'd be nice to hear that if the virus is evolving, it'd be good to hear that, wouldn't it? I don't think they know anymore, Rachel Louise. We never hear about the virus, only what we should be doing. Yeah, I agree. No credible science. There is no credible science coming through, is there? There really isn't. I mean, there's just sort of headline hope, you know, headline-y hopes about, you know, this vaccine or that vaccine, you know, all that sort of stuff. Funky Gears, my hubby was selected to do an antibody test and it was negative. Angela Thompson. Mark, fantastic news for you, Nadia. I was telling my daughter about your book this morning. She already knew about it as school had emailed all parents recommending your book. Oh my God. Really? That's so pleasing, because there are those who want to insist that it's anti-school, even though it's not anti-school, or that when I, you know, in sections of it, I'm anti-teacher. I'm not at all. I'm not at all. We were anti the schools and the types of schools, not the specific schools that we had for our children, and we felt we had to... What we're trying to do in that book is make the suggestion, you can't provide a systematic... This is our book, Honey, I Homeschooled the Kids, just a brief little note on this. What you can't provide in a book, I believe, is a definitive guide to the learning processes available, because the whole point of it is that you have to gear and steer your learning around your child, specific to your child, specific to your lifestyle, specific to your skill set and your own experiences. So what we do is we share our story, and in sharing our story, there may be bits that you can purloin or steal or take. At the same time, we ask what I think are some just important questions, not radical questions and not original questions necessarily, but it's an opportunity to just kick up the dust and just ask those questions about GCSEs and all that kind of stuff. You know, I think it's very easy to simply assume that because, say, Maddie hasn't done her GCSEs, that she's not equipped and she'll only end up in the hospitality sector. You know, that kind of line of thought is anti-homeschooling. I mean, if you're going that line of thought, you're not really getting the gist of what we're talking about. But, you know, the fuzzy noise, I'm afraid, is the engine on my computer. Don't know how to get rid of that. So anyway, but thank you for that. So yeah, that's our book, Honey, I Homeschooled the Kids. And as we kind of go into this, what looks like it's going to be a constantly sort of a bit of school, a bit of at home, a bit of school, a bit of at home. I think there's probably no better time than to be told it's okay to do non-formal learning or non-formal educating, whatever you want to call it, from home. And that's what we talk about in the book. We're going to be on Lorraine, I think, on ITV next week, talking about it. So not in the studio, but down the line. Ellery Jones, watched a couple of your Berlin vlogs. Is that better? I've pushed the screen back a bit. Watched a couple of your Berlin vlogs last night. Can I say it was fascinating, as I love history and it was my type of thing. So big thank you. Yeah, you see, that was one of the sad things about lockdown. We were really hoping to do it. I'm a big fan of travel vlogs. I used to work for the holiday department at the BBC, and we used to love making shows about parts of the world. And I think you can entertainingly tell stories. We used to do a series for Channel 5 years and years ago called County Secrets, and I came across our County Secrets for Cornwall. And I'm going to upload it onto the channel because it was just about, you know, they're not, obviously, you can't find a true secret, because if it was secret, you wouldn't be able to find it. But it's little known facts about counties or little known histories. And I was thinking we should relaunch that maybe on the channel, because, you know, Nads is good at sort of bit travelogue-y stuff. The vlog thing lends itself well, but perhaps a bit more structured. We were thinking of doing that. Anyway, Amanda Woodman, your book is a great read. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Mary Dolling, you're blurred, Mark. Oh dear, maybe that's your, it's looking good. It's looking good from my end. Sorry. It'll come. Release the Cornish vlogs. Jesus, I know, don't say it. Claire Smiley, I bought your book, Mark. I'm not a parent, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Your comments are coming through, Claire. You were worrying about whether they were coming through yesterday. Dylan Crawford, hello, Dylan. Laura, remember we love seeing around London. Yeah, absolutely. No, we're happy to keep going back into London. But the sad thing about London, Antonia Schwartz, are there any homeschool groups in South of London? If you can join the South London Home Education Group, SHLE, it's called? SHLE. It's a Google forum. I'll talk to Nads about how you get into it. But they they send daily recommendations on things to do. The other thing to bear in mind, if you're just on this homeschooling for a moment, I wasn't planning on talking about this too much, is every single institution, a day trip out isn't just a day trip to eat shit and just wander around and just gaga at everything. But can you remember all those school trips where you learnt nothing, you ran ragged and you just did nothing? And when my school got banned from the Natural History Museum because we were knocking over exhibits, you don't really learn, do you? But if you go online to most places like the Tower of London, Hampton Court, Kew Gardens, the Royal Observatory, they have learning tools and they have learning documents and worksheets and recommendations what you can do with your children for schools and homeschool children, and they're really useful. I used to use them an awful lot to aid or assist, going around historic places, historic buildings, things like that. I mean, me and Kiki, I remember us going up to the top of the monument, which is a monument to commemorate, in many regards, the Great Fire of London. I got terrible vertigo at the top. But even for that, they've got great interactive worksheets and all sorts of stuff. So we did the work before we went, and then we did another bit of work afterwards. So there are many different ways of kind of learning. Now, teaching with your children, I think a lot of people misread what we did or do as not being syllabus-based. It is syllabus-based. And I think the idea of taking GCSEs, we have a narrative where it has to happen at 16 and then it has to happen at 18. It's like my line to Maddie the other day was, if you found at some point you really wanted or needed or felt you would like to get your English GCSE, you're going to be well positioned because you've done the syllabus, but you can take it at any point and we'll pay for that. So you know what I mean. So Antonia Schwartz, I hope that helps. United States said will not lock down. Yeah, I mean, Harvey Beeks, I think you're right. I don't think there's going to be an economic lockdown. I think once again, but I think this is where some of the kind of ill-at-ease feeling with the population is going to develop. We already feel like they're asking us to do everything to keep the economy going, and we understand that we need to keep the economy going because we're all parts of the economy. But if you remove all our human interactivity, I mean, if you think about it, a huge number of the reason the weekends used to happen, and I did this when I used to work for other companies, the weekend was your moment to blow out because you spent all your time working for someone else. However much you might enjoy your job or not enjoy your job, the weekend was your time to kind of, if you're not doing shift work, obviously, to have a great time. And that's part of the deal, isn't it? That's part of the trade-off. That's why you work so hard, so you can have a return or a kickback. If you remove all the elements of the kickback, even if it's the only way you feel you can get through this crisis, you're going to get some resistance. That's all I feel. That's all I'm saying. Henrietta Henson, I remember going to London on a day trip and going off down Bond Street to buy shoes. We were supposed to be in the V&A. So true. Celine Scully, should we go or cancel? Where? I didn't see your previous comment, sorry. I've gone back to uni and there are lots of people coming. Dat Cat. Anastasia Alexander, I've been told to come back in the office full-time now. No social distancing measures at all, except screens between desks. I'm just waiting to get sick now. Jason Nichols, I mean, Anastasia, I don't know, yeah, frustrated. I actually don't know what to, I don't want to get the virus, but it's inevitable that one day I will get it. Is herd immunity going to work? I'm quite scared about the whole thing. I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm saying, I think it's all right to say I don't know about so many things. And perhaps that, to be fair to the experts, the government, the scientists, is because they don't know an awful lot, but they're not telling us more than we need to know or could know because they don't know anymore. But, that's my worry. So definitely there's a sense that a second spike's coming. There's definitely, they're talking about the circuit breaker that's going to kick in. How does that make everyone feel? How does that make you feel? Sorry, I'm just having to reload the computer. Nicholas Sinnott, I will say hello to your mum, Joan. Hello, Joan. Is it Joan Sinnott? Hello. Julia Gould, hello again. Yeah, I'm reading the headlines. Eek, I'm in Singapore. Is there another lockdown? It looks like it's coming. Ellen Jones, shit, what's happened? Dragon Rose, scared shitless. Remember, as we understand it, the virus hasn't changed. The virus hasn't changed. The epidemiologist on Question Time last night was all for herd immunity and shield the vulnerable, Jalista. I have to say, my worry is that unless you get everyone to that herd immunity place, you're forever going to you're delaying the inevitable. Do you know what I mean? You're sort of containing something that when you then release the circuit breaker, it's going to happen again. That's my sense of it. It's very sort of layman's, workmanlike kind of, understanding, but that's my guess. Grania Scarlett, looking at the Irish COVID figures, they've provided the breakdown for those with pre-existing conditions. The figures are glum. Shit. Gabrielle, the government are always on the back foot. Maybe if they work together with other countries that are doing well with testing, we wouldn't be in such a mess. I know, it does beg the question of all the times to be going through Brexit. Now isn't the right time, is it? It really isn't. Kimberly Higgs, I think the circuit breaker is a good idea. Maria Etch, I'm not living in fear, but I will be sensible. Nora Doyle, looks like Dublin, Ireland will be slapped with tighter restrictions later today. Our lovely Irish friends, how are you all doing over there? Crikey. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be the narrative playing out everywhere. I mean, Europe's frantically trying to get a control on things, isn't it? And sort of minimize the disaster. Paramedics that came to our house said that their colleague, 24 and a female, had it twice. She was hospitalised the second time and now has long-term side effects, Millie Parfit. That is a really distressing fact. That's not what you want to hear, really, is it? The idea that you can get it twice. See, I mean, if that's the case, that's a game changer, isn't it? But I can see why the government wouldn't want to tell us all. Do you know what I mean? Can't have had it first time, Jill Lister. Nobody can get it twice, Harvey Beeks. I'm in Kildare, so we had our lockdown last month. Dublin needs to lock down, or we are looking at 5,000 cases a day from October. Stay safe, my fellow subs. Grania Scarlett, thank you. My aunt had it 3 times. Really? Becca Kemp? It was the 3rd time that killed her. It's just, well, and that's the feeling. It's Friday, we're going into the weekend. I mean, I'm seeing Izzy. I'm pleased that I'm seeing Izzy, but, it's kind of like, it feels like you've got to capitalise on being able to see people when you can, because you just don't know what's going to happen in the next week, do you? Yeah. Anyway, so here's a curious story. Let's find some other stories that are not quite, unfortunately everything's tinged with COVID, isn't it? But it's a Friday. It's Friday, for goodness sake. So let's have a little fiddle around and see. Oh, I've just lost my story. So as anyone else, would you pay money to go on a flight to nowhere? Would you pay money to go on a flight to nowhere? There's a reason for me asking this. It's a bizarre. So is it Qatar? No. What's Qantas? Qantas Airlines offered a 7-hour flight to nowhere, a sort of sightseeing flight. And it's sold out in seconds. So here we go, listen to this. Pre-pandemic, many of us viewed flying simply as a method of getting from one place to another. Australian airline Qantas recently announced plans for a 7-hour scenic flight that will perform a giant loop, taking in Queensland, the Gold Coast, New South Wales, and the country's remote outback heartlands. It's sold out in seconds. It's slightly different. It's not just, I mean, I know the press are promoting this as a flight to nowhere, but there will be a surprise celebrity host. So it'll be like one of those, I'll tell you what it is. You know when you used to go on those sort of coach trips, like that Channel 4 series? You go on a coach trip and there'll be someone at the front with a microphone. It's going to be like that. Out of your left window, you can see Ayers Rock. Out of your right window, you can see some kangaroos on Bondi Beach. Out of the other window, you can see something else. But the curious thing about that is you've still got to sit with strangers in a confined space. 7-hour flight to nowhere. I did a 14-hour flight to nowhere, but we effectively intercepted Hurricane Floyd. So it was kind of somewhere, but it was in the air. Sorry, I pulled myself off the screen. Would you go? like they fly over the Antarctic. Oh, right, yeah. What do you think? I imagine it would be so boring, Ali Prentice. I know what you mean, especially if you've got an aisle seat. Imagine if you did that and you've got an aisle seat. I mean, I guess maybe they can only sell tickets. Maybe they can only sell tickets to sit by the windows. Mental Marky, you need Mental Marky back. I know. Where's he been? Keep on calling him and he doesn't return my calls. 7 hours sitting in a tin box with a mask on. It's sold out. But then again, they've probably sold not as many seats as there are on the plane. So it's probably sold out because they've sold 20 tickets. Do you know what I mean? Be like a Disney ride. I wonder if they sort of manufacture turbulence to keep it sort of exciting. What if it's really overcast? Ha! Well, it is across Australia, so I'm assuming it's pretty. Maybe they, in a simulated nowhere flight, still on the ground. Madness, Brent McGee. Yeah, they say they've taken off, but they haven't taken off. Good publicity? Maybe. Rather go on a boat. I think the celebrity is the appeal. I think reason for the sellout. Yeah, maybe. I wonder who it is. I wonder if it's Tom. It'd be good if it was Tom Cruise and he was on a wing. He was attached to a wing. And you looked out of your side window and he was telling you what you were seeing. That would, now, I'd probably pay to see Tom Cruise do a stunt on a wing. Wouldn't you? I think I would. I think I would. Oh, Nicholas Sinnott, bless you. Only if Harold Bishop is the compere. Is that Harold Bishop as in from Neighbours? Do you remember him? Oh my God. I remember as a student, we used to run to the common room to watch Neighbours and Friends. Back in the day when you didn't have 24-hour telly and all that shit. God, those halcyon days, eh? Halcyon days, but pretty simple too. Where's Nad? She's at Loose Women. She's doing Loose today. With his tuba. Millie Parfitt with his tuba. Who? Tom Cruise plays a tuba? Or Harold Bishop? Harold Bishop on one wing with his tuba. Tom Cruise on the next wing. And John Travolta as the pilot. I might pay to do that. I might pay to do that. Who would? Hit the thumbs up if you'd pay to go on that. I think I might. Keith Lemon as compere, Jane Bentley, that's a good one. That would be a good one. Now, hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying our little natter. I'm trying to escape the perils of COVID as we hear bleaker and bleaker news. How would you feel about this? So a hotel in Liverpool called the Grand Hotel in Blackpool. I've seen a photo of it. Oh no, sorry, in Blackpool. The Grand Hotel. I've looked at a photo of it. The last thing I would describe it as is grand. But a guest found condom wrappers and a half-eaten biscuit in the drawer. Oh, give me an emoji that expresses how you feel about the thought of that. Oh, Millie Parfitt, you've already done one. Come on, give us an appropriate emoji if you were to find. Yeah, Nadia's, yeah, Lee Peart would be a great host on the flight to nowhere. I've stayed in it. It ain't grand. Stuart G, really? Oh, look. Yeah, good emojis. I like all the green-faced ones. Oh, who leaves half a biscuit next to a condom as well? Oh, God, just hideous. I must admit, that's one side. If you know, I could easily get, if I focus too much on hotel rooms and the fact that you have pass and trade, it gets a bit icky, doesn't it? Oh, look at all those faces. That's so cool. Funky kids, I'm from Blackpool. Me and Nadia met in Cleveley's. Well, Lytham St Anne's, which is just down the road from Cleveley's. My nan and granddad used to take me to Cleveley's, a little bungalow on the front overseeing the sea. Well, a promenade, it's concrete. We used to go and make stone castles because there wasn't a sound. Pretty hideous, eh? So that's the Grand Hotel. That's the Grand Hotel in Blackpool. And there's photos of a dirty... Ooh, dearie me. Some hideous images of rusty kind of... is there a suggestion of dust or perhaps narcotics? Don't know. So yeah, that would struck me as particularly... So, you know, if you're wanting to get away and you're missing your hotel, spare a thought. You might be in a room with a digestive biscuit and a used condom. So we've done Qantas Airlines with their flight to nowhere. This is a great story. I love this story, if it's still there. Let me just try and find it. Do you ever find money down the back of your sofa? Who finds money down the back of the sofa? Who kind of, you know, when I was a student, We used to, yeah, Lytham is nice. When I was a student, we used to shove our hands down the sofas in our digs, and you know, you'd find pennies, and it would sometimes be enough to get a pint. Yeah, so I did a trawl through ours once, and there was enough to buy a Big Mac. Yeah, the odd time I found money. Okay, well, this is really funny. By all accounts, listen to this. Take note. Clever headline in the Times. Apparently, I can't believe this. There's approximately £50 billion of hard physical currency, so notes and coins, that's disappeared from circulation, has just vanished down the back of a sofa or places like that. I think some of it is probably in the drawer next to Nadia's side of the bed. In a report published today, the National Audit Office says that demand for banknotes has increased. It adds that no one really knows why demand is increasing or where all the missing money has gone. Theories include people are storing cash at home because saving rates are so low. Well, there is that. So some of it's down the back of the sofa, some of it's in a suitcase. Isn't that something? 50 billion has kind of vanished out of the economy. Hey, who said that? I haven't used... Oh, Anastasia Alexander. We haven't drawn out cash for ages because we felt there was a sort of recommendation not to. Every time I've used or went to use cash in a shop, the sort of shop owner would look a bit... Oh, suddenly got hunger. Do you ever get hunger and you feel like you're going to be sick? I found old £10 notes. What's legal tender at the moment? Old £20 notes? Can you use those still? I think you can, can't you? Oh, Pauline Mulvey, I'm listening to you from glorious Ballyliffin, Donegal. Oh, why are Irish place names so romantic and so sort of poetic, aren't they? Beautiful. Get yourself some raisins, Anastasia Alexander. I'd pay for that. I'd like to be paid in raisins. That would be nice. I keep pound coins and student tubes. Would you believe they fit £60 in? Cashless society is the end of what? Humanity, Marxism. Oh. If we find the money, can we give it to the NHS? Good point. I rarely put money in my account. It all goes in a safe. Don't trust the banks. Lola Ma. That's interesting. Only food crumbs down the back of our sofa. Well, as students, yeah, if you found a bit of food, you'd chew on it, wouldn't you? Jane Bentley, my grandfather never had a bank account, kept all of it at home, the days when you got paid in cash in a brown envelope. Old £20 until sometime in October. Yeah, that's true. Let's see if there's any other fun stories, shall we? Should we do our little Friday? It's our little Friday last minute hunt around. Coronavirus. Did you know that Uber gives the police data? Did you know that? I was going to talk about that earlier. But apparently the Metropolitan Police are very, very, very favourable towards Uber because apparently Uber have helped in 200 criminal cases dealing with drugs and sexual trafficking. And so the Metropolitan Police in London are quite keen that Uber carry on operating their licence. Did you know that? Did you know that puppy prices have soared during coronavirus? Did you know that? Hi, Raspberry Mojito Girl, December 1982. Sarah B, all taxi funds help the police. Ah, right, there you go. Well done, Uber. Yeah, absolutely. Apparently puppy prices have soared. And I think, you know, a lot of people have turned to pets for comfort, haven't they? But the price of puppies has more than doubled during lockdown, with dogs costing almost nearly £2,000 on average. Jesus Christ. Popular breeds have seen even sharper price increases, and puppies are sometimes selling for £3,000 or more. My fear and worry with all of that always is that if the prices are going up, then, you know, I hate to say it, but puppy farms, with all the focus on COVID, you know, monitoring and making sure that puppy farms and all that illegal stuff isn't happening is going to sort of be low down the pecking order of priorities, isn't it? Do you want to know, guess what's the top breed for rising prices? What do you think the most popular breed is? Let's see what you say. What do you think the most popular breed? Hit the thumbs up, guys, if you're enjoying our little natter. It's quite nice, isn't it? I like a Friday morning chat before we all get to work or do whatever we're doing. We want, what do you think it is? What do you think which dog has gone up in price the most in lockdown? No, not cockapoo. No, not cockapoo. Pug. French bulldogs. Dachshunds. Pugs. Maddie and Kiki love pugs. They love dogs with what they call squished faces, like they've run into a wall. French bulldog. Oh, look, no one's getting it. It's a Cocker Spaniel. Top 10 breeds for Jack Russell. Is the Jack Russell popular? I've always found, I mean, I'm not saying anyone has got a Jack Russell, and I'm sure there are lovely Jack Russells, and I've always found them very angry. There's a guy who walks down our road, has about 4 of them. Whenever I go out, I used to go out for a run, they'd all want to attack me. And Kiki got attacked by a Jack Russell once, a friend of ours, Jack Russell. But Jack Russells, why are Jack Russells so angry? So yeah, so the price of dogs has gone through the roof. £50 billion is down the back of our sofas. What else have we got? What else have we got? Let's have a look. Coronavirus. Everyone's coronavirus. Go away, coronavirus. We're just sick of it. Lithium mines in Cornwall could be the next big thing. After tin mines. Coronavirus. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston reunite for a read-through, and things get flirty. Dirty flirty. Entertainment, what else? What's on TV? Van Morrison to release lockdown protest songs. I'm amazed Van Morrison's still going. Van Morrison has accused the government of taking our freedom in 3 new songs that protest against the coronavirus lockdown. Oh, there you go. That's it. I mean, literally, the news flow is all bloody coronavirus. Rescue, not buy a puppy, Carol Wheeler. I'm inclined to agree with you. It looks like, despite coronavirus, retail sales are still going through the roof. What are you buying more of, clothing or DIY? That's a good question, because there's apparently DIY is going through the roof. What are you buying more of, DIY or clothing? Morning, Darren Boy. Morning, Darren Boy. Sending you regards. Morning, Dragon Rose masks. When do you do? Different times, Paula Lennox. Different times every day. You can fit it around your work commitments and around your child's commitments. They always do sort of PE or physical activity. We always do, you know, the girls even, Kiki even does yoga and things like that. So always flexibility. It's not about recreating a school environment at home. Garden seeds and bulbs, Leslie Gammon, you're buying. DIY, Chelsea Girl, pyjamas. What is happening with Joe Malone, Faith Goodman? Well, they just had a bit of a contretemps. They were a bit silly with John Boyega. They took him off an ad campaign in China. I buy food shopping. That's it, Mumsy. PPE, DIY. Clothing more, but I haven't bought clothes in a while. What's happening with Johnny Depp case? It's been postponed, delayed. Nanny Di's coming later today. Health, food and vitamins, Mandio. Well done. So you'd be right at the top of Nadia's list of well done. Well done. Juicing, pasta and loo rolls, Ali Prentice. Wow. Things for my cat, gadgets. A paddle board. You've ordered a paddle board. That's cool. Miss Montricia, there are lots of unhappy uni students because their courses are mainly online. And also lots of students were told to go into their digs, pay for them, are now in the city in question, and the unis have said, you're not coming in. They could have done it from home, could have saved all that money. We are spending money. So much of the economy is about spending money on stuff that we don't fundamentally need, or that you could drop the price of. A new Confessions of a Modern Parent goes up. I don't think it's gone up yet. Let me just have a look. It has to go, for some reason, it has to go all the way to Hong Kong, and then it gets pulled together, and then it's uploaded. Let's see if it's gone up. No, it hasn't gone up yet. So I'll let you know. Keep looking. Confessions of a Modern Parent. Last week's one was all about why do we have children. Do check it out. If you like having our irritating voices in the background, I have to say they're a bit silky smooth on there, and you probably don't have this hiss in the background. So that's the news for the day. For all of our members, family guests, there will be a members live tonight. I'm going to pop on the community page what time. I'm just waiting to work out what time it will be. Nanny Di is around, so she might pop into it as well. And obviously the Sunday show's happening this weekend, and a Greenfingered Hell will be going up at some point. We're going to do some homeschooling first. And yeah, so hope you all have a lovely day. I hope we managed to find some stuff there that was not freaking COVID related. Stay safe, all of you. Remember, keep things in perspective. It's more than likely that if all of us got this terrible, terrible virus, we would not feel great, but we will not have lasting problems. The vast majority of people do not get profoundly ill. But that said, keep observing the protocols. We all fidget and nudge against the sides. Try not to be judgy of everyone. You can't walk in other people's shoes and know what frustrations they're going through, what needs they have, and all that kind of stuff. So let's try not to be judgy. To quote Boris Johnson, let's not be, what was it he said? I can't remember what the phrase he used about not being, snooping on others and all that kind of stuff. But let's just be responsible. If you see someone doing something that's irresponsible, go and have a word with them first with a mask on. Just be kind, Leslie Sargent. Just be kind. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the natter. I have. I've enjoyed it. You've helped me. I hope we've helped you. Guys, it's Friday. Let's try and be happy.